People often wrongly use the words pre-qualified and pre-approval interchangeably. And to be fair, the difference between the two may not appear to be super important until you're actually selling your home to someone. In this video, we're going to review the difference between pre-qualified and pre-approval. What all is needed to get mortgage pre-approval, which one's better, and do you actually need it at the stage that you're currently in? And then if you are pre-approved, how long does that pre-approval last? When it comes to being pre-approved versus pre-qualified, pre-approval is usually a more time-consuming and detailed process. It's still not a guarantee that you're going to get approved for an eventual mortgage or that you'll be approved for the amount that's in your pre-approval letter, but it's much more reliable than the pre-qualified amount. And in short, that's just because being pre-qualified is typically just giving a verbal account of your debt-to-income ratio and credit score. So when you're pre-qualified for a mortgage, the lender's just getting a rough sense of your financial picture, right? They will ask you to give them an idea of your monthly income, disclose any debts, possibly just ask that you give them your credit score. Nothing here goes too deep or even hits your credit. They're just taking your word for it at this stage. So to be pre-approved, however, they're going to ask a little bit more proof for that information. Now, it's not a complete underwriting event for the mortgage itself, but it's pretty darn close to getting you the same number. And in most cases, they're even going to ask to run your credit report, maybe provide pay slips, potentially give an employment letter or contract, banking and investment statements and other documents where necessary. So getting pre-approved looks different from bank to bank, but you can generally assume that the number they give is much closer in ballpark to what your actual buying power is. Hey, if you're getting value right now, hit that like button. So is pre-approval better than being pre-qualified? Sure. But it kind of depends on what you're trying to do. Like if you're just getting started looking at homes, then maybe it's best to just get pre-qualified so you can get a rough idea of the kind of house and neighborhood that you can actually afford. Now, if you're ready to start making offers, then getting pre-approval is an absolute must. I mean, in hot markets like these, it's almost a barrier of entry to even being considered. All right, so after you provided all the necessary information to the bank, you're typically going to wait a maximum of 10 days, really, before receiving your pre-approval letter, and often much shorter than that. Now, once you got that pre-approval letter, the next question is, well, how long is it good for? Well, in most instances, the letter is valid for about 90 days. Hey, if this video was helpful, hit that red subscribe button. We put out videos for homeowners and investors once every week.